Hi everyone, I'm Vashta. This is a session with the grey hybrid being named Plagnor. He's a part of a hybrid children program as a member of a race that creates hybrids. I made a connection with him a few years back when Treb, in our first session ever, told me about him after I asked about entities that are connected to me within my oversoul. He mentioned 3 of them. The other 2 are my reptilian twin soul, Blan Zirhar, and an avian being named Algor. I already had sessions with the 2 of them, which are uploaded on my YouTube channel. After that, I made my own connection with him and did a few written channelings, which helped me get familiar with his energy. I was hoping he would be sharp, clear, technical, and intense, and that is what he feels like when I connect to him, along with great love and profound wisdom that is a little bit intimidating. So during this session, I was amazed and overwhelmed at the connection I was feeling and the way he was expressing himself. Because the words and descriptions he was using were obviously different than what humans would use normally. And I felt he had difficulty expressing himself, maybe because he was never channeled before, maybe because he was as excited as I was, and maybe because of some other reason or reasons that I'm not aware of. But I have to say, I found it insanely adorable and had a hard time preventing myself from chuckling the whole time. Grey beings have a special place in my heart, perhaps because they are so different than us and most of other entities we do get to speak with through channelings. Anyways, I was hoping he would sound all proper grey, but I didn't expect it. So when he came through, I was totally thrown off my tracks and suddenly felt like a kid in school. I was trying to be appropriate the whole time, but my mind was racing and with new ideas and questions, and I was buzzing with his intense energy so much that I had a hard time articulating what was going on in my head, and probably sounded mentally challenged on more than one occasion. I felt all these different things at the same time. Being relaxed, being super excited to finally speak to him, overwhelmed with love for him and from him, wanting to ask so many different things just to have my mind completely blank when I start speaking. I think this was partly because of his energy that was like a stream of binary code flooding my synapses, making me really giddy and strained at the same time. It's hard to describe a connection with the grey, as they think about 100 times faster than we do, so it almost burns our fuses, very much like being too high on caffeine and trying to say and do 100 things at once. Things I did manage to say came out differently than I meant them to, and I even forgot a few questions that I was going to ask, but I do know that he felt it the way I felt it, so I don't feel like I missed out, except maybe in a way of sharing it with others. So I do hope you get something out of this, because this is definitely my favorite session yet. Enjoy.
Good evening, Vashta.
Hi, Trev. How are you?
Yes, I am doing very well this evening, and how are you doing?
I'm excited and spaced out.
Yes, and being in outer space is a very great place and exciting to be.
Yes, it is. You're totally right.
Yes, I know that you wish to connect to entities. As I am looking into your connection to all of these entities, the host has expressed that the entity that in your perception is the entity that is grey or grey hybrid is the one in which you are preferring to connect to. Is this correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes! This entity is able to connect you in this day, and is willing to connect you in this moment. Whenever you decide to connect to this entity, we will bring this connection closer to you for your own understanding your own connection.
Thank you so much, Trev. I just wanted to ask you one quick question before we make the connection with him. How accurate is the drawing I did of you?
Yes, in this energy that you are perceiving from me, the energy that you are intaking, it is 100% accurate. If you are speaking of the physicality of my own self, this is very dependent, as there are 10 entities who stand before me and perceive, whether they all have the concept of visual organs that you would call eyes. If they are all similar in the way that they perceive and see within the physical organ that they would call eyes, even if it were 10 humans that were standing next together, all of the perceptions are very different in the way that they perceive me, and this is not because their opinions or perceptions of how I look to them are different. It is because in the energetic exchange that you are receiving from the beginning of fourth density to the end of fifth density is very different. When we are physical, whether it is our own energy dropping down into the third or fourth density to incarnate into a physical replica of a body that appears to be us in physical state appears, or whether it is your own consciousness jumping upwards into the area of the high fifth density, each one of the ways that they experience the physical body is different. If you are looking in the concept of my own perception of the physicality, it is very, very accurate.
Oh, that's very, very shifty, and I say that in the best possible way.
Yes, it is very different and exchanging for each entity, and this is what can be very exciting.
Thank you, Trev. Okay, can we make the connection now?
Yes, one moment, please, and I will connect you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
I am very well. How are you?
I am excited to be able to speak to you in this conscious mind manner.
It is very appropriate for us to connect in this way.
Oh, you sound exactly like I imagined. I mean, in the terms of frequency and how I feel when I speak to you right now.
Yes, your attunement is very accurate in our connections, and this is why, although it is different, it is also very similar.
Beautiful. Can you tell me, do you have a spoken language? Is the name that we got from you your name, or is it just like a representation for us humans?
It is both. We do not use the verbal formatting any longer, but we do represent ourselves in an energetic name of our preference, and this Plagnor is mine.
Okay, thank you. Can you describe yourself to me in comparison to how Zetas and humans look? How accurate is the drawing that I showed to the channel?
The accuracy of the drawing is very detailed and precise. In that sense, you are gaining every aspect of my physicality very nicely. And when you are feeling the energy of my own physical presence, you are doing quite well with your perceptions and receiving transmission.
Thank you. Can you tell me what is our relationship? Like, who are you to me?
In the way that you perceive relationships, we are, whether it is brothers and sisters or cousins, to your perception, we are very close genetically, we are very close energetically, but the greatest thing that connects us is neither of those. It is our own excitement to connect in the presentary energetic pyramid that you, as a human, would call Ovasol.
Oh, okay. So, when did we connect during my lifetime? When did that happen?
I have been aware of your presence from the beginning of this incarnation, and in that sense, always being available for you was from the time of your smallness of energy to largeness and physical following those orders. And in that sense, in the presence of understanding and feeling your energy, I was able to finally connect you in the last 4 years energetically more. You were able to feel me more deeply. You were able to sense my presence, and then you were finally able to perceive me in the most deepest way of understanding who I am and receiving the energetic ethical preference of energy given.
Okay, so that must have been very frustrating for you to wait such a long time for me to be able to, be conscious of this connection.
It is more as your fishermen who are patient throw the line out and wait for the bite.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Are you among the ones who were taking me and visiting me since I was like a really, really small child, a toddler?
In the physical sense, we have connected to you before. Myself and you have physically interacted more than 12 times. In the way of taking you, it was not us that was giving you a ride. It was us who come to your physical body in your own area that you are living in. When we are connecting to you physically, then in your dream state you come with us.
So I wasn't actually going with you on the ships. You were just visiting me where I live.
In your third density physical self, yes, but in your fourth density presence, you are with me.
Okay, so can you tell me more about yourself? Like from what Treb told me, you are a human gray hybrid. What kind of a race do you belong to, and what is your genetics?
In the essence of humans themselves, your first predecessor to your own race, the fourth different exchange of DNA build, the version of the human as you went through 7 DNA manipulations. After your fourth, your race was connected to our own mothering race, which is entities that many humans call Zeta Gray, but they are not truly from Zeta.
So where are they from?
They are from a planet in a constellation that is below your horizon. It is one that is in the Cornelius area.
And what about your civilization? Where are you from?
Our civilization comes from a place in which you are more aware. There is a constellation called Pegasus, and we are beyond Pegasus, but reside mostly in our own crafts. Going through, we have one base in Pegasus, we have one in Perseus, and we also have one in Monocleus.
Okay, and your fourth density according to Treb definitions that we use here, right?
Yes, we are of that fourth density.
Okay, and do you visit physically, do you come to Earth physically often, like with your ships and everything?
We have been to Earth more times than we are able to express in understandable numbers to this human's mind.
Awesome. And when you come, are your ships visible to our physical eyes?
They are often seen by many of those who are not only intuitive but third eyes are open or have began their fourth density integration at a young age.
Okay, and I don't remember actually ever seeing a spaceship that I can say for sure it was a spaceship. Have I seen you and just don't remember? Like your ships?
There are times in which you see bright objects moving quickly through the sky that appear to be stars, but you are not sure of their presence. In two of those occasions, we know that you are seeing us with your physical eyes.
Okay, and what kind of ships are you living on? Are they like huge motherships, and then you have like smaller ships that come to Earth, or?
There are many. What you are looking, we are not sure if Armata is one that fits, but large fleets of literally millions of ships, each one that carries anywhere from 300 to 1,000. There are larger ships, but we do not usually use those when coming near planets, as we do not wish to cause great fears.
And what do your ships look like, the ones that you do visit planet in?
They are round in two sectors, round upon the top or round upon the bottom, and then it is rectangular as it wraps around. So, in a sense, perhaps if you are looking at a rounded shoebox, it would appear to be that, but much more shiny.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll have to process that, because I don't think I've ever seen, like, anyone see that ship. You know, we have internet here, and a lot of people draw what they saw and post pictures, but I don't recall anybody with that description.
It is setting one circle on top of another while connecting it with a rectangular. If you are to take a rectangle,
Okay.
that is an arm's width across, and wrap the rectangle around the space between the two circles, this is what we mean.
Ah, okay. I think I understand better now. Can you tell me, like, more of your features, the way you look? How tall are you? What color is your skin? And stuff like that?
Yes, this is varying from each individual within our race, although we do have an average size or height. In our average height and size, we are anywhere from 4 foot and 2 inch, and all the way up to 4 foot and 11 an inch, and anywhere between is the average height for entities in our own race. And then when you are looking at skin color or tone, it also varies from a mid-gray to a very light green, and everything that is also in between.
What about your eyes?
In the eyes, there are more shapes of almonds. They are rounded more than almonds, but they are shaping in sharp, much like larger versions of your human eyes, but more pointed in both ends and also larger in size. And when you are seeing color from a distance, it can be one of 3 different colors. You can see it as black, you may see it as dark blue, or if you are close enough, there is a metallic shining within them.
Oh, so they're not like human eyes that have, like pupils and irises. They're fully one color.
They are not all the full color. In the middle of each eye, there is a different color, and when you are seeing it, the larger film on top of the top eye dominates it to your human eye perspective. Many humans that have described us in seeing our physical presence have said our color is one, but those who are closer and they see the metallic outer protective layer of our eye, but in the light are able to see the under eye. They are able to see the blue, and they are able to see the black inside of the eye.
That is really beautiful. Okay, let me gather my thoughts here for a second. I was completely into visualizing the way you look like. I had experienced shifting realities whenever I hear an airplane hum in the sky. And I was really scared when I was a child that a figure with big cartoonish eyes will come out of the closet and take me somewhere. And I was also scared from the E.T., the extraterrestrial from the movie, and that he will come through the wall at night and take me away. Is there a reason that I had these particular fears? Because I don't have any fears of visitations right now or anything like that, but I figured there was a reason for that. So can you tell me more about that?
Yes, in our mothering races, these beings are still interacting with humans on physical scale, and they are ones who take many humans out of the planet and then connect to them to understand more. They are also working on their 8th wave of hybrids with humans. Some of them were before us, some of them are after us. In the DNA changes that were made to humans, there were versions from different levels, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, and the last. And the more that they are connecting to humans and creating hybrids from your genes, then they are creating more races. And in your interaction, we understand that they have connected to you physically also.
Aha. Okay, so those were the original Zetas, as we call them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when Treb first introduced me to you, and when I found out about your existence, he said that you were connected to the hybrid program. So my assumption is that the hybrid program, which I volunteered for and still am volunteering for, is also somehow conducted through you. Am I correct?
Myself and also colleagues is correct. In your physical state, we were able to obtain the 3rd density samples from before your 4th density, and even now in your times of jumping into 3rd density form, we are able to still exchange physical parts of your body or use them for sampling. And then when you are connected to your sleep state, we are able to take your 4th density energetic parts of the physical body and use them for hybriding as well.
Okay, you said something when you started talking, yourself and then I didn't hear. What did you say? I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Yes, myself and my colleagues.
Ah, colleagues, I'm sorry. Okay. Is there a name for your race that you use?
Our own race does not use a name, but there are many others who have called us Andars.
Andas.
Andars.
Andars. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
but the R is not so expressed as this man's tongue gives it.
I understand. So you're completely telepathic. You don't use language. Do you use your mouth for anything?
There are noises that are made in communication that is non-verbal. In our own sense, if we desire to speak, we may, but we do not use it to connect with one another unless there is an occasion that would excite one to do this. It is often played with for some in their own attempt for humorous exchange. But in other senses, it is used to either communicate a desire to communicate to a verbal-only race or to ward off those who are attempting to engage with us in more negative ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so back to the hybrid program. You said that you have been taking materials like building blocks so that hybrid children could be made. Can you tell me more about how am I involved in that, and if you were part of that as well? Like, do you and I have a hybrid child with our mutual DNA, or do you know of any of my hybrid kids or their fathers even?
Yes, in the sense of your own interaction, it is on a voluntary service from your own self, and as you exchange, there are many others who have exchanged. We are not one of those races that require sexual organ portions to have genetic hybrid children. We are ones who are able to use various samples of your own skin and of your hair for DNA, and sometimes, if a permission is given more specially, we are able to take more deep tissue samples. In that way, we are able to extract your full genetic mapping and therefore extract the portions of DNA to replicate the eggs that you would have in order to connect them to our own genetic codes, which enables children to be born. In that sense, you have had many hybrid children with our own race. You have worked with 3 teams, one of them in which I am involved, 2 of them in which I am not, and in the 3 teams that have worked with you, the fathering code is not known to the team, as the leaders of the program believe it could result in unhealthy attachment to the mothers and the children.
Nice. That brings me to my next question. From what we know here on Earth so far, the original, Grey Zeta race doesn't really have a good grasp on emotions, and they're learning from humans about emotions. And where does your race stand in that regard?
We are exploring our own emotions thoroughly, and we are not as left on that spectrum as our own mothering race was. We inherit feelings and emotions from our own connection with that specific DNA version of humans before the 7th exchange occurred. And in that occurrence, humans were less emotionally complex. From the 2nd to 5th exchange of DNA, there was a great change in vibrations each step when it comes to emotions. 2nd change of DNA to 3rd was a very high scale of emotion, then 3rd to 4th, dropping it down drastically more than 60% before the exchange from the 2nd to 3rd, and afterwards going back up and down, and in the 7th going to where you are now, and learning over evolution time to mature your own. In our own experience with emotions, we feel great pride, we feel great love, we feel great connection, but if you compare these emotions to your own, perhaps you would not see them as so great of love or pride, due to your own ability to gauge much higher respect or much higher perspective of emotions that you carry compared to us.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have a sense of humor?
There are humoristic things that we are playing with, but in many humans' minds, we have more than 100 humans that have interacted with certain portions of our race very closely throughout your own history, and within those more than 100, there are only a small amount, less than 5, that thought that we have a sense of humor that was somewhat comparable to your low sense of humor people.
I was going to say that I definitely think you do have a sense of humor, judging by my communications with you, not in this way, but like telepathically, and what I got from you when I had a few channeling attempts. But it is a very, I think one would have to be very intelligent to understand it, let's say.
Yes, very different from many humors you as a race carry, but out of the less than 5, you are one of the 4 that we were speaking about that understood our slightest of humor in the majority human perspective. But if all of the humans were able to hear us exchange with you in the humorous way, some would consider to be at least somewhat humorous.
That's awesome. Okay, about screen memories and general dream encounter recollection, I've been working really hard to improve myself in that department and trying to decipher the dreams that I do remember when I wake up, and teaching myself to question everything. And one thing keeps coming back to my mind, that if I am able to recall a smell, most of the memories are there. But if I'm not, I'm having difficulties with visual recollection. I'm usually seeing people while I know I'm not interacting with people, with humans. And it's very frustrating for me because I don't have fears from meeting with you. I don't have, as far as I know, beliefs that would prevent me from actually remembering the communication and seeing you as you are. So can you give me some advice on that, and anyways comment on the smell thing?
Yes, the smell of sense is one that is in a very deep part of your consciousness and your mind, connecting in the sense of helping guide you to greater memory. It is against the protocol of our own race to give the memories intact with humans until there is a level of direct working with one another in which it is cleared by supervised staff, and in the supervising staff, they are the ones who are able, after several checkpoints have been made, to clear our working with human beings without assisting inside of their screen memories. It is something that is done for the protocol of the conscious mind, as we try not to interfere with humans. In your sense, recalling smell is something that allows you to understand more things that are being connected in your own subconscious haze that you go through each moment. When you think, your smell appears, but the picturing in many details. I cannot directly tell you one thing, but as a friend, maybe someone along the lines were to tell you one day that when you think of how your brain as an organ works, or at least your scientific community sees it, it looks at one part of the brain assigned to each individual thing, but when you see your brain in whole, electrically and chemically, each thing is one separate snapshot. One thing is not several parts, but all parts together electrically and chemically, connecting smell to that concept, finding out what the human brain associates with in the centers near to smell, but also energetically understanding that smell is a part of subconscious that is connected to more touching, hearing, and seeing, and how the energies are different. When you think about it in this fashion, if your friend were to tell you this, perhaps a map could be made on your own.
Oh, wow. Okay. Can you tell me, on my birthday 2 years ago, I dreamt of a party on a ship, and there were two gray-looking beings that seemed like close friends to each other and myself, and their skin was brown, and eyes were very deer-like, like dark, warm brown, and very large. Do you know what that interaction was, or who were these beings? What race is that?
When you are thinking of this date 2 years prior, you are breaking through more than just your smell. You are breaking through to your own memories that surpass smell alone. They are not visually all connecting. They are only bringing through 30% accuracy or so, but remembering that in your connection to me and in your connection to one of the associates with myself that is also very close to you, this is what helps pull that memory back into your subconscious awakening mind.
So, wait, did I get this right now? This was actually you that I remember.
It was not only me, but me and one other who is very close to you.
That's awesome. Okay, so my memory is not that good since I saw brown. But as Treb said just before, we always see differently depending on multiple factors. But I wanted to ask you, you mentioned checkpoints and people who oversee this whole screen memory process. What kind of hierarchy is in your society that determines like who's in charge of it, and what are these checkpoints?
They are not, in the sense, hierarchical. In our own development in learning technology, we place ourselves in a path of quick learning. Perhaps we should call it a quick schooling, and in that quick schooling of our desire, they are seeing what each one is more adaptable or adept in doing. And as we are looking through the things that we enjoy, they are placing us in our own strength and aptitude test of sorts. And in that aptitude, we are placed in one specific job. There are no jobs that are higher or lower. This is something that took many thousands of years for us to work through. At first, there were many hierarchies. And afterwards, by seeing the faulted ways of that and understanding how it brought us further away from our goals to connect with other races and to continue our programs, then we change back to the way where one is assigned to their strength and their desire both at once. And when that strength and desire come together, every different entity is having their own part to play in their own crew or own subgroupings. when we have armadas that are full with ships, we may come into one ship and work with one crew specifically, but sometimes there are periods where we work with hundreds of ships together. In our own process, we are working exclusively now for the last 9.5 of your months with a crew that is gauging between 6 ships and 11, and often reverting to 3 in certain incidences, and each of us have our own parts to play individually on our own ships. As for my ship, I am concerned only with my own connection with other entities besides not just humans, but also many who we connect with in our own hybrid programs. The human race are not only race that we connect to with hybrid programs, but you are the ones where most of our energy now is concentrated, and in that sense I am in charge as communications and translations of non-verbal sorts.
And how old are you, and how long is your lifespan in general?
In your own terms, in your own years, I would be in an approximated 220. Our lifespan goes over 800 of yours.
Oh, so you're still young. That's
we are
beautiful.
1/4, yes.
And how do you, do you eat, or do you just, take in energy? What's the way you're doing with the sustenance?
We are phasing out of our physical sustenance period into a point where only we are having a problem with transferring a word, but we are making our own artificial sustenance that is made from very small beings, the small living organ. Bacteria is one that is comparable to what you know, and in that we are ingesting this as synthetic is the word, yes, synthetic sustenance, and we are also breathing and learning to breathe in more of the energetic particles around us.
And the sustenance, do you ingest it through your mouth or through your skin, or how does that work?
There are 2 forms, one in the internasal in your facial structure. You have the nose there, so it is above the lip, under the eye. And in the glands that are there, this is one way. In the second way, in the corner of the eye.
Oh, wow. And, your organism, you said that you don't have sexual organs, is that right?
This is correct.
So do you have any sort of duality like male and female in your race, or are you all androgynous?
We are all the same in the physical sense, but in the way that we are perceived, there are some of us that are considered more masculine, some more feminine, in the sense of having our own perception on this. We see ourselves as both male and female, as the internal structure of our own self has a capacity which is able for ourself to contain life inside of us, both male and female connections within us that could breed asexuality, is what you call it upon your planet. But now we are turning these parts of our physical bodies off in order to experiment more with the hybrid children.
Hmm. Oh, I can hear the alarm. We're at the end of the session. I have just one more question for you. Uh, can you give me a hand on how to recognize when you're communicating with me, like your signature, like vibration or something that will let me know that it's you? Because as you know, I connect to many entities, and I'm trying to learn these different, vibrations of different entities, and how will I recognize yours?
In the way that the energy comes in now, there is a pulsating that occurs in your third and heart chakra, but it is very faint. As of late, in the last 1 year, I have tried to make a more energetic humming in the inner part of the ear pattern, going from left to right and then to left again. And when this occurs, it is very slight. We are trying to manipulate the hands in order to give you the example. What we are going to do now is give you the signal. This is the left. It would appear to be as such.
Okay.
Into the right and into the left.
Oh, wow.
This is the harmonic resonant vibrations in each appendage.
Okay, I did hear something like that. I just didn't know if it was you, so I apologize. I will pay more attention now, as I really want to connect with you and like make deeper connections.
We are trying to adjust it to where it is less of a smaller click and more of your normal ringing sounds, where it is reverberating more of that nature, but with the same patterns.
I'm really looking forward to experiencing that.
I am deeply connected to your own heart, and in our experiences shared together, you have given me an opportunity to feel a closeness. I have communicated with more humans than the number I am aware to count, but in that sense there are so many that have not connected with their hearts. They're either coming from feelings of obligations, of agreements that they are making, so begrudgingly carrying out their agreements, or a place of forgetting the agreements so deeply they fear. What a refreshing experience to share, where hearts have been opened to this ability for us to communicate while we are both sharing the benefits of hybridizing our own race and sharing and learning more about yours.
I am very, very happy to hear that, because I really needed a reassurance about this. I wasn't sure that you were getting whatever I was feeling when I think about you and when I connect, but it's definitely in my heart, and I can feel deep love for you.
It is understood well, reciprocated back to you in the degrees that we perceive as the greatest love available to us is also given. The expression of love is different, as we know you have seen many races express in different forms, and in that scenario, or in that perceiving, you understand our greatness of love comes back to you also.
Your unique way of expressing is very much appreciated. I love you dearly, and I really, really wish to connect with you more. And I'm happy that we had this opportunity to talk.
I am also very happy. Reciprocation of love back into your own heart from us, and with that we are going to now give your connection back to your friend.
Thank you. Thank you. You are loved, as Aradif would say.
Yes, and you are also loved too.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yes, we hope that this connection that you have in this moment is one that expands you, one that excites you, and one that has helped you.
Oh my God, Treb, I was so excited that I forgot to speak English.
Yes, it is very exciting to understand that in that excitement it becomes your greatest excitement.
Thank you so much for this connection.
Yes, you are very welcome. We wish to express to you as well that it has been a great excitement of our own, and in that way we are happy to be excited to connect more in more aspects of yourself as you continue to look into more aspects of yourself. In that concept, we wish to express to you that we will leave you this evening in love and in light, and we will connect you again very soon.
Love and light to you, Treb. Goodbye.
Yes, good night.
Bye.